Today we're going to try and solve a little mystery for me that has bugged me for a while. I have this camera right over here. This is the EOS 700D, and the problem is I want to use this as a webcam for my computer. I've tried many times before to come up with a solution for this. I've bought a AC to DC adapter which connects this to the power plug, so it's long running. I've got the cable, the mini HDMI cable that connects from here to HDMI to USB adapter, which connects to the computer, and then finally use it as a webcam in the computer. But then there is a problem. Okay, so ignoring the state of the rest of my room, let's have a look at what is actually happening here. So this is the camera. Now I've plugged it into the AC adapter and the HDMI cable is plugged in there. The AC adapter is plugged in there, and the HDMI adapter goes to this USB that's plugged in here. I was just watching this podcast. So now if we search for camera and then we do a little Command Shift S magic, we see a little USB video there. But what we actually see when we, let's say, turn on the camera is something that I kind of didn't expect. We see the camera screen. So you can actually see the camera screen, but unfortunately there is no way to get rid of the borders, because this, in terms of focusing and in terms of how a camera should look, this is golden. This is great. I really want to use this. Right now I'm using DJI, but I really want to use this. But the problem is that you see these focus thingamajiggies here, they just don't go away. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and see if there's something else we can install on the camera that gives us a little bit more control over this output, I almost want to say. I don't know if there is or not, so we will find out. I started recording. I realized that you probably didn't hear any of what I said, but basically I just switched to my Mac to start recording directly from the Mac instead of using the webcam. I didn't realize my mic was far away, so yeah. Anyways, I started recording again. Let me show you where I ended up. So I found out this thing called Magic Lantern, which is a custom firmware that exists happily for the EOS 700D, which is the actual camera that we want. This is what it looks like. It has a bunch of features that it lists on the home page. I don't actually know if this solves our problem, but I'm kind of hoping it does. And if it doesn't, you can write Lua scripts, which is, worst comes to worst, we'll write a script, we'll see how it looks, we'll debug our own software in the camera. Why not? So I've gone there and I've downloaded the firmware for EOS 700D, but the only way to put the firmware in the camera is to do it via the SD card. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find the SD card to put it on, because I don't want to risk losing the video on this camera. So I am going to try and find an alternate one which doesn't have as much storage, which doesn't have videos in there at all, really. I will be right back. Okay, so I found a SD card to use. I've put it inside the SD card dock. If I come here, go to here, I think it's untitled. There isn't really anything on here. So what we want to do is just a script I had for another video. We want to look at actual instructions on how to use this, basically. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna switch to this screen, because I think the mic is just better supported if I look at this screen. I'll zoom in this a little bit more, put this on the right. So if we look at install, I think there was a install guide from the download page, and EOS 700D or these cameras, and just follow the guide available on our wiki. I guess it's like a circular dependency. Okay, so first thing, preparing your camera. I'm taking a little bit of risk here because I don't really have a camera battery. I just have the thing, so I just have like the wire that connects to the camera. So yeah, a little bit of a risk, but no risk, no reward, eh? So use a fully charged, preferably or original, not third party. Rotate your mode dial to manual position. Okay, I'm not actually sure what that means. Oh, I think this means this manual position. I've rotated it now. Restore your camera to default settings. Okay, let me do that now. Clear settings. Clear all camera settings. Okay. Double check your Canon firmware version. Okay, firmware version is 1.1.4. Memory card containing firmware is required to update. Okay, installation. Format the card in the camera. Low level format. Unzip all of the format the card in the camera. Low level format. What? Unzip all of the files from into the root of your card. Launch the firmware update process from the Canon menu. Follow the messages. Okay, so first I actually need to take this out from here. Put it inside the camera. And then I guess not really sure how to format the card in the camera. It doesn't erase images is the only option that I really see. Control over HDMI, no. Format card, there we go. Format. How do I select? Yeah, low level format. Okay. I've done that now. Unzip all of the files from the Lantern zip archive to the root of your card. Okay, now let me take this out. Oops. Here we are again. Now it's called EOS Digital. So now what we do is we go to our downloads. So it says unzip all of the files from the Magic Lantern zip archive. So that means from here to here into the root of your card. So I'm going to move it straight to EOS Digital. It's just copying it over. Okay, now it's there. Launch the firmware update for process from the Canon menu and follow the messages from screen. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now we go to menu. Firmware version. I'm not really sure where firmware update actually is. I think it's firmware version camera. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. It looks different. Magic Lantern, incorrect firmware version. Expecting a Canon 700D with firmware version 1.5. Please reinstall Canon firmware 1.5 even if you already have this version. You may now remove your battery. Okay, well, that's a bit of a problem. Let's go to the troubleshooting. If you have a different, use the one from our download. Please say you have it. Different Canon firmware version. So it says Canon. Thing is, it says 700D. Magic Lantern Lure fixed builds, source code, required Canon firmware version. Can I download that? It just kind of points back. Where can I get a required one? If you found next to your selected build, you'll find required with a firmware update. Go up that file name, go to there, and I can download it. This makes it a hell of a lot simpler, by the way. Let's see. And just like that. Okay. And I don't know how to restore it, to be honest. But this is very cool. I didn't even know I could upgrade it like randomly. This random website that I've never found, and the fact that it's got all of them is making me highly, it's quite it's quite credible. Okay, so what does it say? It says incorrect firmware version. We may now remove your battery. I am more than happy to remove my battery. I don't know why it's asking me to do that, but let's figure it out. Okay, I've removed the battery. Take out the SD card. Put it back in. And it's loaded up just like normal. I'm guessing what we now have to do is clear settings, clear all camera settings, okay, and then we put this back in here. You know what, I can put it on the side of my Mac, which is great. So now if I allow, we still have the things, so let's for now move them to bin. Do you want to move them to bin? Let's just copy them to downloads and I was going to say put these back where they were, but they're already there, and I can also unzip if I wanted to. So I'm guessing I do the same thing for this. Update procedure PDF. Very cool that it's just there. Firmware, prepare the items, dedicated battery pack, Shaw 64, firmware update file. Copy the firmware update file to the SD card into install. Okay, remove the SD card from the card reader. When removing the SD card, be sure to do so as described in the computer, or rotate them to select P mode or one of the modes in Creative Zone. Insert the SD card with the firmware into the camera. Turn the power switch on and then press the menu button to display the menu. And then press the set button. Then update. File update files. Please try again. Connect the camera and the computer. Oh, I didn't know I could also do that, which is pretty cool, but that's only for Windows. Okay, anyways, let's copy this over to this file. And move these to bin. So now, essentially, let's turn it off. According to the camera body SD card, I've got the firmware update file, so let's take that out. In case of using the SD card reader, follow the procedure from step 2 onwards. In case of not using the SD card reader, follow the step procedure. Yeah, I'm using the SD card reader. Insert the SD card that has been formatted in the camera to the SD card reader. I've already done that. Copy the firmware update to the first window that appears when the SD card is open. The root directory, I've done that. Remove the SD card. When removing the SD card, rotate the mode dial to select P mode. First of all, okay, P mode. Insert the SD card with the firmware into the camera. Turn the power switch on, and then press the menu button to display the menu. Press menu, and then go to firmware version 4, and then press the set camera update firmware update program loading. I think now once I do that, then I can upgrade it to the. Okay, perfect. It's appeared. Now what do I do? Okay, this screen has appeared on the camera monitor. I just realized this is not. So this screen will appear. It has appeared. If you press the set button, a confirmation button. Yes, I want to update. The message will updating now. When the update is complete, firmware update is now complete. When the firmware update, turn the camera off and then remove battery from camera for at least 2 seconds. This will cause the new firmware to take effect after the battery has been reloaded and the camera is turned on. Format the SD card before using it again. Okay. Sounds good to me. Let's wait until the camera finishes. While that's updating, let me just talk to you about our sponsor. I'm just kidding. I don't have a sponsor yet. I wish. But hopefully, I want to talk about like what my aspirations were for this camera and why I'm updating. I think I did this in the first video anyways. First little clip that I recorded. But the aspiration that I had was this wouldn't just be a camera that I need with a battery and an SD card. I would like this to be more. Like I would want way more manual control, or I would want to see how far I can extend the capabilities of this camera with custom scripts. With like maybe I can make it be much better than it previously was just via software. Because I don't know the specs inside the camera itself, but like processors have been quite powerful for some time now, and hopefully let's see. I mean, maybe this what's this software called? Magic Lantern software will be good enough for my liking, but I just want to extend the reaches or extend what I can do and kind of use how I can use the camera. So yeah. But anyways, okay, so the update is actually complete now. Okay. It says the firmware version is a newer version. It does also say, I don't know what's in the new version though. Can I see? File numbering. These all look like the settings I had even before. ISO, export comp, image quality. Sure, it looks like pretty much the same thing. But now what I want to do is I want to turn this off. And the setting suggested that I should take the battery out for 2 seconds. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Put it back in. I've turned it off. I can take up the camera. Drop the SD card. And then I will put the SD card back in now. Hopefully something pops up. If it doesn't, I go to Finder, I go back to US Digital, and I move this to bin. and it should be as simple as now. Don't really trust what I've taken out, so let's unzip that once more. We take this, put everything in EOS Digital, the root apparently. Okay, now it's done that. Let's take it out. And then the settings actually told us to go to manual mode, turn it. Let's put the SD card in before we turn it on. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to turn it on. Go to menu. Pretend it's a firmware update. Camera. Let's update the firmware once again. And let's see what it says. I don't know what. Oh, it's saying something. Oh, this is great. Look at this bad boy. The only problem is, it says you need the camera to stay, like, you need the memory card to stay in the camera, which I really hope isn't the case. But let me turn it off and on again. Off and on, and it looks a little bit different. I see like a little bit of text up and down, and if I now go to menu, okay, I don't see anything in the menu that wasn't already there. Okay, now how do I actually use Magic Lantern? Updating Magic Lantern. I don't know. Like, I installed this without even knowing anything about it, to be honest. Don't do that. But that's the way I do a lot of things. Let's see. User guide. Features are disabled. Important known issues. First second of recorded audio may be very loud. Common terms. Most cameras have a dedicated movie mode. The Q button. Most. Okay. Features. Disable UDC. Movie helpers. Bitrate movie logging. Auto restart after buffer overflow. Fine control. Bracketing. Remote release. Time lapse. Bulb ramping. Recording at very low FPS. Silent pictures. Astro and night photography. Damn. Info displays. Focus on power saving. Quick zoom in play mode. Okay. Let's see. So I'm not sure what actually changed here, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Let's go to video mode. I don't know how to control HDMI, movie size, delete data. So, like, I do see things that weren't there before. But I'm not sure where. Well, let's search up how to use Magic Lantern.
Today we're talking about or shot. You load onto a Warner card facility. Right, here we are with my Lantern. So if we hit the track into it. All right, here we are with my Canon 60D, and then we got my SD card that's got Magic Lantern loaded on. So I'm just gonna pop that in here real quick. All right, and now we're in Magic Lantern. So if we hit the trash can icon, we get to see all the menus that Magic Lantern has. There's a lot of stuff in here, and I'm not gonna go through everything, but I'm gonna show you guys a couple of the things that I find very helpful in video production, specifically for me.
This is very cool. I can finally see it now. This is like the menu. Okay, so press info context help. Make sure all ML files are installed to your card. Press Q. I don't know what's happening. Oh, this just help. So white balance is auto right now, and I can actually show which parts of the image are in focus. Spot meter, export display brightness from a small spot. Histogram waveform. Record key. Start recording by pressing shift or halfway. Gradual exposure. FPS override. HDR video. Movie crop mode. What does this mean? It only works in movie mode. I don't know what that means. Advanced bracket. Follow focus. Focus with arrow keys. Menu while recording. Focus endpoint. Rack focus. Focus patterns. Oh. Center selection. Horizontal selection. Vertical selection. Oh, this is very cool. This is very cool actually. Focus LVD clear overlays when recording. Yes, this is what I wanted. So now if we go to recording, excuse me, let's press delete clear overlays. I think the main thing that I actually wanted to get rid of was I wanted to get rid of the borders. Movie crop mode, what does that mean? If we turn that on. We'll just go there. And if we press record. Oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. I don't want it in the SD card though. That's the problem. I don't want to show it only when recording. So I guess I can do that always, right? So I can do oh yes. Yes, I got there. Let's go. Let me now plug the HDMI thing in. Hopefully it still works and I can show myself in the camera. And I don't have the overlays. Hopefully. I just realized that I've been showing my past self. So yeah, now I've got it working. I do that. And then I open the camera, I go to USB video, and oddly enough it's still oh. Never mind, it's working. Let me just put this. No, this is not what I meant to do. Let me open Raycast over here and show you guys exactly, or I can just add a little video capture device, DSLR. Okay, USB video. You guys can probably see it now. Now I can do a little bit of this magic to then get a very yellowish, but this is exactly what I was hoping for. But now you can see that I can use the camera for so much more. I can use it literally to record, and I can look at this. Can I look at myself in the video cam? No, it doesn't look like it. I can only see myself there. But that's kind of what I wanted. I realized I haven't been speaking into the mic, but it's working. It is working. And if we now zoom into what we were doing before, I'm guessing I have to do manual focus. There we go. That's where we are. And you see how clear, crisp, and like kind of smooth this is. This is kind of exactly what I was hoping for. Autofocus, please. Yeah, things like this, cinematics like this, they just look so much better. Let me make the aspect ratio correct. Do this, and we did all the way, and then hope that this is the way to go, and then